Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the concession stand here on the KB Radio Network. I am your host, Kevin Reeds, and this is the review of the latest film from Marvel Studios, Captain America Brave New World. This is the fourth film in the Captain America franchise, but the 35th film in the MCU total. This film is directed by Jonas Ona, and it stars Anthony Mackie as Sam Wilson, Captain America, as well as Harrison Ford, Tim Blake Nelson, Giancarlo Esposito, and Danny Ramirez. This film finds Sam Wilson as he finds himself at the center of an international incident. We know that this is the new Captain America. Steve Rogers, played brilliantly, I must say, by Chris Evans, and all of the previous iterations of this character passed the shield or the torch over to Sam Wilson at the end of Avengers Endgame, and now he holds the mantle of Captain America. And we got the Disney Plus miniseries, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and it kind of explored some of the troubles, I guess you could say, of Sam Wilson having to take on the mantle of Captain America. Even though I felt that that show could have dove deeper into the weight of this title, the weight of having this position from Sam Wilson's perspective, but we didn't really get it. They kind of tiptoed around it, but they didn't go in full force. I wasn't expecting this movie to do it, but I thought it would be some type of continuation from that little weak storyline that we got in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Even though it was weak, at least we got it. We didn't get it here. I'm gonna cut to the chase. I didn't like this movie, straight up. I tried for the past 3 hours scratching my head like, is there anything salvageable about this movie? Not really. I do have some positives, but it ain't enough. It is not enough. This is, if I had to put a quote unquote ranking on MCU films, this would be in the bottom 3, as opposed of just calling it the worst, because right now it's the worst, but this is, it's fresh on my mind. But if I go back through the rest of the MCU, I might find one or two that was worse than this, but I'll be nitpicking at that point. I really can't find even the Eternals, which a lot of people hated. I didn't hate it, but I understood the hate. If that makes any sense. It wasn't the greatest thing on earth. I thought it was going to be something interesting, but it didn't really check the boxes for me. But I did have somewhat of an enjoyable time watching that movie. There's nothing about this movie I enjoyed. I really didn't. Like I said, I do have positives. I do. But this movie overall is just a convoluted mess. The movie made no sense. This is a Captain America movie that is not about Captain America. This has nothing to do with Sam Wilson. They could have made this movie with me, Kevin Reed, Brave New World, and you would have got the same effect. The same effect. There was nothing about this movie that screamed Captain America. You went to go see this movie, and I kind of took a mental poll of people I talked to prior to me going to see this movie, because everybody knows I'm in the comic books, I'm in the movies, and you put the two together, and hey, and so everybody will come to me like, oh, you're going to see that Hawk movie? Oh, you going to see that Red Hawk movie? Nobody ever said, not once. And I was asked about 6-7 times, am I going to see this movie? And nobody referred to it as Captain America. And you want to know what's even sadder on my part? I didn't correct him. I just said, yeah. Because if I would have said Captain America, that would have started a whole discussion and a breakdown that I really didn't have the time or patience to go through at that time. And so I just left it alone. Yeah, I'm going to see the Red Hawk movie. And to be 100% honest with you, I feel like a fool because all those people who are not dove in to these movies like I am, they were 100% correct. They called the shot. I didn't. I missed it. This was a Red Hawk movie. This was a Thunderbolt Ross movie. This basically was the Incredible Hulk 2 without the Incredible Hulk. It was a sequel to that. It was not a continuation of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which I was led to believe that it was going to be. No, this was a continuation of the Incredible Hulk because they had more characters from that movie than they did from a Captain America movie. You had Thunderbolt Ross, Harrison Ford taking over the role as Thunderbolt Ross after the passing of William Hurt. He's in it. You had well, they'll be getting into spoilers if I go any deeper, but I just know that there were more characters from the Incredible Hulk than there was from a Captain America movie. Now, that's fine. That's fine. Those portions of the film I actually enjoyed because I like the Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton. That's the Incredible Hulk I'm talking about. I actually like that movie. So the rollover or the aftermath from that film, I was excited to hear about. I was excited that they explored that. They actually went in depth with all of that stuff. Okay, that's fine. You continued on with that, officially making the Incredible Hulk canon. Because we all know it was canon, of course, but it wasn't really canon because nobody really discussed the events of the Incredible Hulk. Every now and then you'll hear Bruce Banner say, "Oh, I went to Harlem once and I broke it," or something like that to that effect. Yeah, Thunderbolt Ross, William Hurt, he made appearances throughout the MCU before his passing, and he was in the Incredible Hulk as Thunderbolt Ross. So those elements were there, but other elements that were set up in that movie never came to be, until we get to this. But everything else involving Captain America, it was a complete waste. It was a waste, and I feel bad, man. I feel bad for Anthony Mackie, because we got Black Panther, and I say we as black folks, we got Black Panther. And we finally got to see a black superhero given his proper due on the big screen, and it was a beautiful thing. So now we get this. We get not only a black superhero in a big Marvel film leading a film, but he's Captain America. There's so much meat on that bone. So much meat on that bone that you could have dove in. You could have dove in a black man representing America, holding the mantle as Captain America, the weight, the stress that puts on him. Sadly, what makes it more infuriating, we do get one line of dialogue at the end of the movie that says everything I just said, and that was it. The line was spoken, and that was it. You had a 2-hour movie. You could have explored this. There were opportunities throughout the film. This could have been explored. With the how the scene was playing itself out. Thunderbolt Ross telling Sam Wilson that you're not Steve Rogers and stuff like that. You could have dove into that, and I'm not spoiling nothing there. That's in the trailer, but. They did not check that box. I'm so disappointed with this movie. And honest to God, this was not the movie, at least coming from Marvel, that I was super excited about this year. Marvel has 3 films coming out this year. This is one of them. Thunderbolts, which comes out in May, and you have the Fantastic Four, which comes out in July. This was the least anticipated one on my list, but I was still excited to see it. For one reason, if not for the reason, is the fact that it's a Marvel movie. It's Marvel. I want to see this, and I want to see how they're going to continue the story along. And this movie went through so many changes, and you can tell. This movie went through so many reshoots. Let's not forget, this movie was supposed to come out 2 years ago, and they had to reshoot it. Well, first and foremost, you had the strikes. You had the writer's strike, you had the actor's strike, and that kind of halted production. Then they changed characters. One of the characters, they changed her from a superhero to a former Black Widow because of the backlash of her character being a, I guess you could say, Jewish superhero or Israeli superhero, and didn't want the backlash, so they changed her character because of the Israel Hamas war, what's going on at the Gaza Strip and everything. So Disney and Marvel didn't want to cause any waves there, so they changed that. They changed some characters. They just eliminated buku characters. I'm a big wrestling fan. I love the WWE. One of the actors in this film was Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is a WWE wrestler, and his character was completely written out the movie. Him and his crew. I forgot what group. I think they were the Serpent Society. Yeah, it was the Serpent Society. They completely wrote them out. The villains of this movie wrote them out. And then that's when they replaced him with Giancarlo Esposito. All right, love Giancarlo. The dude is amazing. One of the most underrated actors. Period. This dude is phenomenal. Good addition. Good to see him in the MCU. Not the character I would have picked, but good to see him in the MCU. He was wasted. He was wasted to me. You had other characters that the names are escaping my mind right now, but they weren't in this film. They changed. You can tell. You can actually tell that they changed dialogue and didn't reshoot the scene because the ADR shifts. It's louder. The dialogue is louder. It gets like they're overdubbing. Well, they're dubbing over the original track, and you can tell. I'm like, wait, this is $100-and-something million movie. This sounds horrible. The dialogue, and they never show the face while they're giving their lines of dialogue. You see them from the back speaking, which indicates that whatever's being said is not what's being said right there on the day, not on the set that day. And so it's so telling that they changed all that, and it's just a mess. This movie was a mess. It was a chore to get through. Whenever you're in a 2-hour movie and 30 minutes in, you look at your watch, that's a problem. It was a problem. I'm like, man, that's it? I'm like, I looked at my watch. I'm like, wait, we ain't even get through an hour of this movie yet. It was so taxing to get through this movie. I cannot believe that Marvel Studios did this. Honestly, they should have just went with what was already shot, with the original plan. Sometimes you just got to die with the lie, or, go down with the ship. If this is what y'all agreed to, this was what we had locked in, let's run with it and see how it goes. But they claimed that the test screenings didn't go well. That's why they changed a lot of things. I would love to see what the test screenings were for this. This was, Man, this is mind boggling to me. This is so mind boggling. I really can't believe it. I want to go see it again just to be sure that I didn't see what I just saw. Am I tripping or something? But no, I wasn't tripping because everybody in the theater where I went, they all just sat there. You know, when this movie was over. No, not like normal MCU films sitting there waiting for the post credit scene. They were just sitting there like, what? That's it? You know, even though this movie went way too long, I feel and drug and was incoherent and all this other foolishness. It was like, what? That's it? There's no story. This movie has no story. So after the post credit scene, which was a waste of time, which infuriated me even more. Now, I get what was said in that post credit scene, and that's all it was. They didn't show nothing. It was just a comment made that we supposed to put two and two together. Immediately, I knew what they were talking about. And yeah, on any other day, I would have got excited about that. But you still haven't set nothing up for what they are proper-sizing, I guess you could say. But it is so frustrating that we get a film like this, 35 movies in, that we get a film like this. But like I said before, there were some positives. There were actually some positives that pretty much saved it from being just hot garbage. You know, Harrison Ford, first and foremost. Harrison Ford, at the age of 278, I don't know, how old is Harrison Ford? My God. But he did a phenomenal job as Thunderbolt Ross here, as President Ross. Phenomenal job. I thought he was going to be the part of the film that I would dislike the most. Reason being, okay, it's a paycheck movie for him. You know, he's Indiana Jones. He's Han Solo. He's done it all. There's no reason for him to be in a Marvel movie, you know, other than the check. But no, Harrison Ford really brought something to this role. I really connected with his character. It was a really good, really layered performance that he gave throughout this film. Unfortunately, where he suffers at is the writing. The writing was so all over the place. I think it's more of a victim of the editing room and the reshoots that really destroyed his role in this movie, because he was great, you know, as the Red Hulk. Amazing. The Red Hulk was amazing. Loved the visuals, loved the destruction. Didn't love the fight. Didn't love the fight, even though it was a nice fight. But logically, and I know we're talking about a comic book movie, but logically, ain't no way Sam Wilson will go toe to toe with the Red Hulk. No, there's no way. Because let's not forget, Sam Wilson, he's not like Steve Rogers. He isn't like Bucky Barnes. He doesn't have the super soldier serum. He's just a normal guy with a shield and some wings. There's nothing special about Sam Wilson other than the fact that he is a soldier. Awesome hand-to-hand combat. I give him that, you know, when he's fighting me. But we're talking about Red Hulk, who gives off radiation. You know, he's not like our Incredible Hulk. You know, he just gets mad, gets green, and destroys and smashes. Red Hulk gives off radiation, and they displayed that in the film. You know, not a lot, but they gave little inklings. Once again, you see this in the trailer, so I'm not spoiling nothing. When his hand's on the ground, and you see the ground around his hand start to kind of kindle up, flame up, is because of the heat, the radiation that he gives off, that he emotes from his body or whatever. Yeah, that's what makes Red Hulk's such a foe. He would have destroyed Sam Wilson. I don't care that he has a vibranium suit on. I don't care. It's no way. It's no way. I just that whole scene, that whole fight scene between Red Hulk and Captain America. I just sat there like just shaking my head like I'm not buying this at all. I should be emotionally invested in this, but I'm not. I'm just not. But as far as the Red Hulk itself, awesome. How the Red Hulk came to be, love that setup. Speaking of which, I loved all of the elements from the Incredible Hulk, the film. I love that they incorporated all of that into this movie. That was cool. That was cool because I wasn't expecting that. Even though I kind of did, but I didn't expect so much of it in this movie. I thank God because that was the only part of this movie that I could actually follow was the Incredible Hulk storyline. And okay, this is making sense. Okay, I can see why he's mad. I can see why he's doing this, and I'm bouncing around because I'm trying not to spoil. But I like that part of it. I love that part of it. I'll go that far. What's another thing? Oh, the other thing that I enjoyed was the portrayal of Isaiah Bradley by Carl Lumpley. Man, that dude he actually gave a performance that this probably was the best performance in the film. Well, ain't no probably in it. I'm gonna be honest. That was the best performance in the film. Carl Lampley, hats off, round of applause, because he brought it. The emotion, the power of that character, Isaiah Bradley, and his experiences as a super soldier. What he went through. Now there was some depth there. There was some character development there for his character. Just nobody else, unfortunately. But I loved his addition to this film. That's about it. There was nothing else about this movie that I can really sit back and say, okay, all right, this will balance it out. It's not balanced at all. This is probably the worst MCU film. And yes, I'm counting Eternals, which parts of the Eternals make a addition to this film. Just to run through the list, you have the Incredible Hulk being featured in this film, the Eternals being featured in this film, the not the Eternals themselves, but from that movie, a little storyline from that movie being thrown in here. You had the storylines from the past Avengers films thrown in here, from the past Captain America's films thrown in here. You had a little bit, just a little bit of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the Disney Plus show, thrown in here. Not enough of it. Maybe if they would have kind of just continued on with that, it probably would have made a little more sense. They didn't. They threw everything against the wall here to see what stuck. No, one more thing before we give our grade. One more thing about this that was frustrating. Marvel knew that this was a bad movie. They knew this. Never have I seen Marvel release so many clips before a movie comes out, because they don't want to reveal nothing. They don't want to spoil nothing in any of their films. So they don't release clips like that. They released about 4 or 5 clips the week before this movie came out, of the movie. So you saw about a quarter of the film before you went to go see the film. They were trying to get people in the seats. Just like in the trailer, they exposed the fact that Red Hulk is in this movie. It's all over the place. It's on the poster. It's everywhere that Red Hulk is in the movie. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. They could have teased that fact that Red Hulk is a part of the movie. maybe show his hand, his foot, and then we get the big reveal of him and all this here when we go see the movie. No, they once again, I can't spoil nothing, but they showed most of it. They showed most of that. If you seen trailers, if you seen clips, you didn't seen the Hulk. You saw him in this movie. It made no sense. I don't know. The marketing just failed this movie, or the fact that this movie failed the studio who just told the marketing department just put it out there. I don't know, but either way it goes, very disappointed. I'm not hurt. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. Captain America: Brave New World gets a letter grade of a D plus. Yeah, this was bad, man. this was bad. I guess I'm gonna be honest with you. It's probably an unfair grade. I'm probably grading it um off of disappointment, off of the fact that this is a Marvel film. If this was any other type of movie, a little 90s action movie or something, it probably would have got a C minus or something like that. But nah, man, D plus, D plus. It's that bad. It's almost to the point, and I don't do this, but it's almost to the point where I'm like, man, keep your money. It's almost to that point, but go see it for yourself. I could have it wrong. It's a strong possibility, but that's just one man's opinion. I would love to know, what did you think of Captain America: Brave New World? Did you like it? Did you think it was a worthy successor to the three previous Captain America films, or do you think they should have left well enough alone? Email the show, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. You can also search for the show on all social media platforms. Just search for the KB Radio Network. Also, don't forget about YouTube. Subscribe to the KB Radio Network channel and like this video if you don't mind. Don't forget about the 5 stars, the reviews, and sharing this show if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you are currently listening to the concession stand here on the KB Radio Network. Everybody, thank you for joining me for this review of Captain America: Brave New World. Want you all to know that I love you, continue to love everyone, and until we speak again, you all be blessed.